Hey there, everyone, and welcome to the Joy Factor Show. I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts. It says I choose joy, and those shirts are available on my website. I have several different designs, but the Joy Factor Show is all about how we raise our joy and feel happier in the world. I mean, there's certainly a lot of things that could keep us down. We could get caught up in all the crazy events that are happening in the world and be totally consumed by them, or we can choose joy. So today I am coming from a new location. As you know, it doesn't look like my normal location. I'm actually in Houston. I am here to go to an Astros baseball game tonight. So go Astros. But today, even though we are supporting the Astros and looking for a win, I want to have a win around joy. And I want to encourage you to choose joy and activate joy in your world. So let's talk about what that means. Oh, by the way, I'm Cheryl Jones. I'm your host for this. And I am a coach, a speaker, and an author. I wrote the book called Emotional Self-Mastery, which teaches you to raise your vibration so that you can have more joy in your world, more experience it every day instead of just on occasion. So today we're going to follow up on last week's program where we talked about muscle testing or applied kinesiology. And when we talked about that, we talked about it being a method to bypass your brain, your logical brain, and you know how your left brain is always making decisions and being rational and concerned about what's going on and trying to weigh things out, you know, the pros and the cons, the good, the bad, and trying to find that happy place when you're making a decision. Very often, all of that gyration, if you will, around making decisions can really leave you in a quandary and not really be, the answers you may get may not be really to your highest and best good. So today we're going to talk about bypassing your logical left brain and being able to get authentic answers from from your subconscious. So here's the deal. Your subconscious is the seer and the knower of all things. Every experience you've ever had, every thing you've ever noticed or seen, even if you can't recall it in your conscious mind, it is available to you, and it is there because it is paying attention to what is going on in your world. And it's weighing everything out and looking for the best possible answer for you. So it's got your highest and best good always in mind. So when we want to make a decision or when we want to know what's going on in our lives and we don't have clear answers, we can ask our subconscious mind. And that's really kind of helpful because then we don't have to weigh out pros and cons, do our little T chart, and try to make decisions and gain information that way. I don't know about you, but if you've ever had, when I've tried to do a T chart, and maybe you've done that as well, you may run into just kind of circling back around and still not getting the answer you were looking for or wanted to know. So last week we talked about how can we get answers from our subconscious. And I showed you two methods. Well, actually I showed you about four, but we're going to review two of them. So one of them is called the sway test. And when we do the sway test, we stand up, and I'm going to back up a little bit from the camera. And what we do is we put our feet about 3 inches apart, and we take a couple deep breaths and relax our body. And then we close our eyes, and the first question we always ask is, show me a yes. So we close our eyes, relax, and say, show me a yes. And for me, I usually lean forward. And then what we do is, now that we know what our yes is, we reposition ourselves, close our eyes, relax, and say, show me a no. Show me a no. And for me, falling backwards is my no. So I know that I can use that technique to gain answers that are going to help me, raise my vibration. Sorry, help me get clear answers so that I can raise my vibration. Because I am looking to have a higher vibration on the hierarchy chart so that I can feel happier and more joyful. So I brought a copy of the hierarchy chart today just to show you again what that looks like. So at the top, you'll notice that love, joy, empowerment, and freedom are at the very top of the chart. And down at the bottom, we have shame, grief, and despair. So each of these has a different frequency, and those frequencies are stair-stepped up. And so joy and love being the highest. So our goal is to always keep moving up the chart. So when we think about asking questions and getting authentic answers from our subconscious, we can ask questions like, why aren't I happier? Well, let me rephrase that, because in reality, we can't say, why aren't I happier, and try to get an answer using the sway test. We have to ask yes or no questions. And so one of the yes or no questions might be, is there something keeping me from being happy? And then what you would do is stand with your eyes closed and then wait for your answer. Notice remember which way was your yes and which way was your no. And if you sway in the direction of one or the other, then you know that yes or no, something is standing in the way of your happiness. So we can get more specific than that, and we could say, is my physical body causing me to feel less happy than I could feel? And then that's kind of a yes or no question, and we can get an answer from that. So all the questions need to be yes or no. And here's the thing. If you use a question that has two answers in it, so if you say, would it be to my highest and best good to have cake and ice cream? Well, there's too many questions there. There's cake and there's ice cream. Which is to your highest and best good? So you need to be specific. Would it be to my highest and best good to have cake? Yes or no? Would it be to my highest and best good to have ice cream? Yes or no? And then that way you get a clear understanding of what is going to be the highest and best good for your body. So because your subconscious knows everything and it's looking out for you all the time, then you can count on it to give you the best possible answers. So let's go back and talk a little bit more about muscle testing. So, the sway test is how I originally learned to do it. But then I became much more efficient at it and started using my fingers. And so I used my ring finger and my two fingers, and I put the ring finger, I put the two fingers inside the loop of the ring finger. And then I pull against where they touch. Pull against that, and I'll say, show me a yes, and my fingers don't go through. Show me a no, my fingers go through. So you can teach yourself to do that, and what I would suggest is that you practice. You practice on everything. Would it be to my highest and best good to watch TikTok right now? Oh, it says yes. Okay. Well, I'm a little busy, so I can't do that right now. Would it be to my highest and best good to have breakfast right now? Well, the answer is no. I just had breakfast, so that's not an issue. Would it be to my highest and best good to go exercise? Yes. Would it be to my highest and best good to have salmon for dinner? No. Vegetables? Yes. And so what you do is you can use it regularly to get answers. And the more you use it, the stronger you make that tool in your toolbox, right? So I practiced for about 8 months so that I knew that I was getting really, really clear answers. And then I learned to test for other people. And then that was so cool because I could then get answers for them that they couldn't get for themselves. So I connect with their energy, with their permission, and then ask questions and get answers for them. So let's say that you want to understand what might be holding you back in your career or your business. And maybe you're not as successful as you'd like to be. And so your question might be, is there something keeping me or holding me back in my career? And you might muscle test and you might get a yes. Then the next question is not what is holding me back, but you think about it and you say, okay, is it my skill set that's holding me back? No, you got all the right skills. Is it my relationship with my coworkers? No, that's not it. Is it negative self-talk? Yes. So when you've got that going on, then you know that you've got a block in the area of negative self-talk. Is it my confidence? Yes, let's say it is. And you can start figuring it out and then look for solutions to help you with that. So very often we have trapped emotions in our body from judgments we've made, experiences we've had, things that people have said to us that have hurt our feelings or created this trapped emotion, a trapped trauma in our body. And those trapped traumas then play out in our daily lives. And the problem is their old history, their history that not appropriate to this moment. And what's happening though is that it's playing out right now as if it's happening now. But if you're able to release it and it not be operating, it might still be in your memory, but not operating, then you can be more successful because you won't have that blockage anymore. You can move forward. So one of the things, the challenges I had when I wrote my book is I finished my book and I sat on it for 3 months before I sent it to the publisher for printing. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? I could not seem, total layout, everything was done, ready to go, ISBN numbers, everything. And I could not get it to the publisher. And it was because I had a fear and it was holding me back. It was like it wasn't good enough. I had all kinds of stuff going on about it. Would I be judged? Would people make fun of me? This was all in the back of my head. But I didn't know that it was there. I just knew I wasn't taking action to move forward. And so one day I decided to look to see what was going on. And so I muscle tested and asked, is there something that's keeping me from sending my book to the publisher? And there was a yes. And I was like, oh, great. And it's like, okay, is it emotional? Yes. Is it tied to a past experience? Yes. Is it a trapped emotion? Yes. And so it was like, ugh. So I kept asking questions and until I could get it cleared up. And then as soon as I cleared it up, within a day, I had the book uploaded and sent to the publisher, and it was a done deal. It was then ready for first author's copy so we could look at it and move on from there. So, it's sometimes we don't even know what's going on in ourselves that's keeping us from moving forward. But it may be like you have a fear of success, and I have to admit, at one point I did too. And you think that's crazy. Why would anybody have a fear of success? But if you don't know that that's what's going on, and it's operating, then it's going to be difficult for you. You're going to have a hard time moving forward. So use muscle testing as a way to get your own authentic answers. And if you're having a problem and you can't quite master muscle testing, or it's not showing up right for you, I can help you with that because I can tap into your higher consciousness and find out what's going on that may be limiting you and help you clear it so that you can move forward and you can be successful. One of the other questions I had written down was, are there trapped emotions keeping me from reaching my goals? I notice that there's a lot of people that I've interacted with that are struggling to reach their goals or feel like they don't know what they want to do with their lives. And the thing is many people are talented in many different ways and they can't seem to choose. And so when you ask your higher self, what is to my highest and best good now in this moment, then we're able to find that out. And we're able to give you a direction that you can feel confident about and move forward on. When you have a bunch of options, it can be a little crazy, again, while you're trying to weigh them all out and chase all of them at the same time. Now, the universe has real difficulty with us chasing a number of things at the same time. It really wants us to be focused so it knows what we want and it can provide it. So what we have to do is put those blinders on and make a choice and say, this is what I want, and visualize it and go, oh yeah, this or something better. So I've started visualizing visualizing what I want, and it's interesting because I can see how it's coming. It's coming little drop. It's like somebody's turning the spigot on a little bit more and a little bit more, and I'm seeing more and more what I've asked for. But I had to get the blocks out of the way first to receiving it, and then allow the universe to provide it. But until I chose what was for my highest and best good and focused on it, I couldn't have it. So that's what I have for you today. It's about muscle testing, accessing your higher consciousness, and knowing that it's got your highest and best good always in mind. It will not it will not cheat you or lead you in the wrong direction. Your higher self is really focused on what is to your best good, because it's survival. It wants you to survive so it can survive. So it's looking for the highest and best thing for you. And it knows all, so you can trust it. So I encourage you to practice muscle testing, whether you're using the sway test or you're using the finger test, and learn to use it for yourself so that you can be successful at really knowing what's best for you. If you get stuck, please reach out to me, or if you just don't want to do it and you want somebody else to do it for you, reach out to me. You can find me at simplythebestresults.com. And again, my name is Cheryl Jones, and I thank you so much for joining me today. Take care. We'll see you next time.